let anybody steal your magic. Yeah.
So guys, do you want to be black excellent?
Do you want to be an excellent black?
Do you think? I mean, it's a desirable thing, but do you? Oh, I wonder.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. It's been so long.
Sorry that we didn't get a video out to you last week, but hopefully you guys have been staying tuned, waiting to see this one.
We have 500 subscribers by the way.
Yes, thank you. Get us to 1,000.
It's since February. Come on guys, get us to 1,000. But anyway,
share the content if you really enjoy our content, and what, because that's how we know that you guys respond, right? If you like it or if you share it, that's how we know. Okay, maybe this content means something.
Yeah, a young thread there.
Some threads.
It's an encouragement.
It was an encouragement, guys. Okay.
It's Women's Month, as we all know, and we thought it's important to discuss black girl magic and black excellence in general. Is it realistic? Does it put unrealistic pressure on you? If you want to find out more about this topic, stick around! For those of you who don't know what the whole concept of black girl magic is, it's this whole idea that when a woman of color achieves an accolade that we haven't necessarily seen a lot of women of color achieve, or that in general seems exceptional, then we deem it black girl magic.
Who comes to mind for you when you say that?
Chimamanda. I don't want to go there because I'm a groupie.
There's a doctor called Dr. Belu. I think about her. She's
Yeah.
black, consultant. I mean, she heads up so many things in the hospital, and I was just like, this Kosa lady could be me.
Yeah.
Quick story. I was with my mentor June Pim on Tuesday, and I was telling her about this girl who I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl is exceptional, right? Like I saw her recently, and she's just like flourishing, like just like praising her. And halfway through me saying that, June says to me, "But is she happy, Sihle?" And I was just like, what? Like, what does that even mean?
What is happiness?
Right? Like it kind of just like left me inward thinking about like, maybe I should ask her, is she actually happy, right? Because there was just like all of these accolades that I was like telling her about, and she was just like, but is it enough, right? Like the inward man trumps the outward man all the time.
Do you guys think that the whole black girl magic idea, it's not just the accolades, but she needs to be almost a bit like Pan-Africanist or like standing up for social justice, and that's the marrying of the magic. So we don't want those ones who are just achieving, but don't that social element. I don't know, is that a thing? Because
they have natural hair, they run for causes, they've probably written books, they are at the top of their career, sometimes they're married and they have children, but somehow they're doing all of this, and so they're this glorious stage that everybody's trying to get to.
And that's why it's called magic, right? Because it's unattainable. It's almost something that you like, it must be on another realm. You know? it's something
Japan.
You know, you almost are like, there's no way that this is a normal individual.
Is it possible? Does it feel like something that should be possible for your life?
I think there must be a loss somewhere. Like when you spectate in someone's life, right? It's like, wow. Even think about yourself.
Yeah.
There's so many things that people might look at you guys right now and be like, wow. But you know the inner workings of like, shucks. When someone says, I wish I could be you, I wish I could, you're like, nah, you don't.
Living out of memory.
Like, spectators obviously will see the highlights, will see the great moments and stuff, but they definitely, I think they must be lost. And holding so many different things, juggling so many things.
That's so true. That's good.
But like, for example, the lady you mentioned who's in medicine, when you think about the magic that she's achieved, is that your aspiration?
I do think so. My personality is want to do something and they want to be the best at it. In her, I see this quiet confidence, someone who's open with her story, you know, she shared how she got through it and her exams and then having children. So there's transparency to the story that makes it attainable. But then there's also this like, it's actually a lot of work. I do want it, but I know that it's not all that is cracked up to be. So then I wonder then, what is black girl magic? Like, it's just people watching something and attaining to it, not having a full idea of what it comes with. So maybe people need to be a bit more transparent. When they are the magicians, they need to be able to say, guys, actually A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
It kind of feels to me like black girl magic. It's kind of like how capitalism works. You have 1% who's made it, but then you sell the story that if you all work hard, if you all try really hard, then you're all going to be multi-millionaires, right? You only have to have one image of it for everybody to believe that they can be it. But I think the danger in it is that, one, you have no balance in that attempt to be whatever it is, because you haven't really considered like the realities of that, ne? But it also means that you don't really consider what matters to you in terms of your own life. Like you've created an idea of what it means to make it, but is that really what you want? I remember when I first wanted to do my PhD, I said to myself, I just wanted to go to Harvard. I didn't just want to be blah, blah, blah. And she's like, but how do you really know you would be happy there, right? And I think part of like is to get a PhD from Harvard, or is to be in this department at the World Bank. And so I also had this question. I remember when I was between school and career, I wasn't sure what to do. Like I want to go into consulting, but I don't just want to go to consulting. I want to go to either McKinsey or Bain. I started to ask, do you just want this because it's wantable and that's what people like you should want? Or is it even in alignment with what you are good at, with your skill sets? Why do you want what you want?
I think it's one of the hardest questions to ask yourself. Because if I think about black girl magic or black excellence, there's three things on the shelf. Here's the magic, here's something else, here's something else. And that's the obvious choice. I don't want those other things. You're being given, this could be your life and here are your options and what you want. What I've come to realize is the importance to define it for yourself, but also a lot of us are looking for meaning and identity in it. So for example, why Harvard? Because then it says something about me. And then I almost have a language to fit myself into.
But not necessarily. Sometimes you want to go to Harvard because you aspire towards this like level of growth, right? So not necessarily that my identity is now stuck to it, but it's like, I want to grow so much. I want to explore all of my talent and potential. And perhaps that is the kind of environment that would cultivate that and increase that growth potential.
And I hear that point, and I think that the hard thing is, it probably is, but there's probably another three options that are lower key that could do the same work or even a better work given your personality.
That's very true.
So when I'm in a room and I'm a Harvard graduate, there is a level of gratification I get. So if you think about when we were a lot younger, getting into UCT, that was considered black girl magic in the Eastern Cape. I mean, you come home with that hoodie, just going to Spa. UCT hoodie on my way to Spa.
Meanwhile, of course,
even when you're at UCT, what are you studying? A business science, finance? That also has its own like
the way you say it. And as much as there again, I would argue that a part of it is I want to grow in a certain setting. UCT is the best university in Africa and it's going to grow me. But you could argue that given my love for social justice, perhaps Wits would have been better suited. So I come to UCT and I get the growth. Warranted, you do get it because of the quality of the institution. But I also get that I'm the cream of the crop.
That's what you're told, remember that? I remember that first speech in UCT, you get told, you guys are the cream of the crop. And you're like, oh.
So then,
and then followed by course. Course start having you. And you're like, cream of the crop.
And the thing I wonder about in light of black girl magic is almost then the desire for society where black girl achievement is normalized in the sense that it doesn't have to now have a title. One of the things I think about is there's not necessarily black boy magic, right?
Black exit.
No, there is black boy magic. The black magic girls seek black boy magic, which is what we talked about in that checklist, right?
But then it's not like in our language as much as black girl magic is.
No, we're trying to disacknowledge boys at this point in our lives, right? Like, but we all know what black boy magic is.
And I agree with you, we do, right? We do. But what does it look like in the future to raise girls in a world of black girl magic?
The redemptive qualities of black girl magic. I think I appreciate a level of aspiring towards excellence. You know? So I do think there's something to be said about doing something but doing it well. Doing it well enough to maybe one day open up opportunities for somebody else. That's one that pressure though also to also open up for everyone. But
representative.
Pressure. Besides that, I think just doing something and doing it well is something I personally as a value I appreciate.
Talk about the toxic, I guess.
The toxic
redeeming
element. I think trying to be everything, everywhere.
To everyone.
To everyone. You have to be a good daughter, a good friend, a good sibling, a good student. And I just feel like the amount of pressure and guilt that comes with it, because more likely than not, you have to either like not sleep enough to be able to succeed at all of that. Is slightly
and it's praised. Right?
And it's praised. But you also forge your identity on that praise and that performance. And I think that you can't reasonably do that.
So your daughters?
I think I'll teach my daughters to that thing that Chimamanda says. You don't need to try to be likable. There's this lady whom I really like, Ukoni Maseko. She's from East London. She's a grandmother, and for her family, she has a family constitution. And something that I've thought about a lot in terms of my own life is like your own personal life constitution. Almost like trying to be as honest as possible about what you value, about your priorities, and about how you actually want to live your life in a very practical and wise kind of way, so that my life is not this constant attempt to be what is admirable in society, but to say, how am I as a person at peace with myself, right? Am I preserving my own sense of integrity as a human in the way that God created me? I want to live more like that, closer to that blueprint for myself.
Thinking, like I was saying to them earlier, next year I have the opportunity to take 6 months off before I start, you know. I mean, it's not something I can say I'm actively thinking about too much, but I was thinking, I have been studying for a long time, and I kind of feel like, wow, it would kind of be great to have a moment. I would wonder then, like, am I doing the expected good, right thing? Am I being able to sow back into my family? But taking these 6 months off, it implicates more than just me, right? So in this want of being excellent and doing the right thing, and it's kind of like you need to be comfortable with yourself to say, but health for me at this time might look like a break. Maybe with this excellence thing, it's kind of also getting comfortable with yourself to say, for me, I've done a lot, I'm comfortable with my achievements, or whatever it is. Maybe even that is another problem, even having to recount your achievements to make you feel that you can now rest.
And I mean, that point, I love everything there, because similar thought, where it feels like to justify room for yourself and for your own health, you need to create a list. You can't just say, I want it for myself. Even to yourself. But it's like, how dare you just want to rest when you sacrifice the inward over and over again, because you feel like, at least with myself, I can rationalize my actions, but with the external world and what it demands of me, I just need to go, versus actually for myself, the next 3 months I'm not going to work, and this is kind of what I want to do, and chances are you'd be in a healthier place at the end of those 3 months to give. But because I think as women especially, it's hard to choose yourself.
Like, it's so amazing. It always feels to me like when there's no balance in your life, your body is always like
It's
expressing.
telling you.
Like you feel hunched. The minute I don't sleep, the minute I have no balance, my skin will break out. Like there's always this outward expression of what's actually happening inside, right? Resting and the need for it is almost recreating your own idea of what it means to be living, right? Like you all your life you've been told what to do systematically. You're in an education system, and what's next, right? Like you leave high school, you go study, you go leave studying, you go get a job, you get a family. Like you have this like movement all the time, and movement is the only sign of living. Also, what is interesting, it's always amazing to me, like once I create, how much like rejuvenation I find. Okay, that maybe I'm in a system that does things in a singular way, and maybe there's something else that my soul actually knows that I'm not allowing myself to believe every single day.
But it's a conversation that we were having over email, where I sent her this thing where this poet says, when we think, know and believe, we can be anyone, but when we feel, we can be no one but ourselves. And we're scared of acknowledging our feelings, because then you're isolated and you're alone. So the carrying on and doing what everyone else is doing is safe, because we're all doing it.
Don't let anybody steal your magic, yeah.
The minute I acknowledge that this is how I feel, and therefore I choose to act in this direction, there's subliminal fear, as you pointed out, that then I am alone. And what does that mean to stand alone with a conviction, which I think a lot of us are scared of. So it's easier to know, believe and think, because the collective, chances are, meets me somewhere there.
But also, if you start to believe your feelings, you're not sure if you're going to succeed.
That's the thing.
You know, like if I believe what I feel and I move from what I know and my conviction, if everybody else is saying this and this is what's worked and this is the method, why am I taking a different route?
That was my feelings.
This is what I feel, Mom. I went to your feelings.
You hear this like 5 years from now. I mean, Sharon just told us she felt stuff. Now you girls know.
That's why I read someone's post saying, once a blank says, I'm Dinette depression, they download. They went, nyagas, book, nyagas.
All in all, guys, would really like to hear what you think about black girl magic, if you think it's attainable, if you think it's toxic, and how do you exist as a woman who wants to achieve exceptional things, who wants to do things well, but who also feels like perhaps we don't do enough inward work to define that for ourselves.
The book Sifia got me for my birthday says Ordering Your Private World.
Oh, I borrowed it from Sharon first.
Listen,
That book actually.
Now I'm on it again.
that book is just, it acknowledges that there is an inner world and that it does need health. So I think in us striving for black girl excellence or whatever, to not actually neglect the fact that the inner man who's kind of like, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it. I'm sick.
I'm on bed.
So you know what? I'm not gonna make it. The inner man,
the inner man is weeping. I mean, I'm just recording quickly.
You know, it was like just running and running.
But if you hear that sound, unreliable, like I feel we had a plan, guys. Like it's a go.
There's no room for I think there's no room for fatigue anymore as well as well. Personal message, like just be aware of yourself. Be aware of what you're thinking, feeling. Pour into that, and then you'll be better able to achieve the things that you really want to achieve. As cliche as it might sound, it's true. It's just true.
Bye, friends.
Don't forget to
See you
subscribe,
soon.
like, comment, and share these videos.
Share this video.
Bye, Black Girl Magicians.
Yeah.
Black girl.
Here's all your magic.
Where is the chat? Where is it?
Yeah.
Oh, already. No,
Where is it?
The best.
The best.
Where is it?
The best.
Bye guys.
No, it's for you guys. It's for you.
You are the magic.
Bye, guys.
Take that stress.
Don't let anybody steal your magic. Yeah.